Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I thought I was going to do a reading today to pull down the shenanigans that's been coming in for the last few days, but no, not the case. More shenanigans. And what I'm going to do purposefully is to use astrology as my container. So I'm going to use the archetypes of astrology as my container. And another picture emerges, another tapestry is building, which is linking into 2 or 3 things. So I'm going to try and bring them. So the container is Mars in Cancer, squaring Chiron in Aries. Just brought through some beautiful stuff this morning. So they're within a 1 degree square. Mars is at 16 of Cancer. Chiron is at 17 of Aries. It's a square turn. Okay, so that's a cardinal square. And in true Chrissy fashion, I have some notes, which I'm going to read through. So Mars in Cancer is, so in the archetype of the masculine, this is the masculine learning to swim in the cardinal waters of the moon. So the moon rules Cancer. And Chiron in Aries is the healing of selfhood. Using archetypes to hold the space, Mars, masculine ruler of fiery Aries, is now swimming in the waters of feminine Cancer. Cancer is commonly represented as mother, home, comfort, roots, but is that all that she is? As a cardinal sign ruled by the moon in the 4th house of foundational memory, this is the deep water, Cancer is represented in the major arcana as the Chariot, and I have to consider something with a little more gravitas than its common archetypes. Maybe a hybrid priestess matriarch figure begins to emerge. If we're speaking to the 4th house of foundation, are we also speaking to old narratives, old beliefs and structures, old judgments, moral piety? And in this question, how willing are we to step outside the boundaries of our own belief systems into the vulnerability of expressing something strange and possibly jarring, then bracing ourselves for the pushback from the ordinary mind? P.S. The moon is in Cancer today. The moon is at 29 degrees, and I ran this chart at 5:15 this morning. So the moon's probably passing through. Okay. With me so far. So Mars is feeling his feels and his frustrations in the cardinal waters of Cancer. He's having to find a slower, less action-driven space to come into harmony in the waters of his moon. In this space, does he bark orders at everyone, as is the way with the activating Mars? Or does he move to open, curious questions and expose himself to the vulnerability of learning something new and challenging, an internal belief, emotional belief, cognitive belief? It's how he feels about the belief. Okay, thank you. Does he take that moment to feel his way? Through. To feel his way through, even re-augment his senses so they can pick up more information before he takes action. Can he surrender to the changing tides and learn something new, or is he fixed on achieving a certain outcome, and that outcome might be to be right? This week I heard myself ask this question: is spirituality an illusion? Going outside the box without reverie. Haven't got an answer to it yet. I wanted to experience how it made me feel, and it was a bit, oh. So the current energies will provoke the masculine to see and take ownership of his edges and slow down enough to consider what he wants to do with his dark materials. Mars is currently sextile Mercury, which is normally a favorable placement. I didn't get that this morning. So Mars currently sextile Mercury retrograde and Uranus together, which could speak to mental exhaustion or worse, impetuosity and thoughtlessness. In super simple terms, if in doubt, don't send that email. Okay, so I've just put a few bullet points to wrap all of that up. Masculine finding his place within a matriarchal space. That's when the word matriarch came in. And if we speak to the esoteric masculine, the masculine within, yeah. I'm going to bring this in now because I'm going to start hopping around here. If we speak to the masculine within, I was instructed to get this card back out of the deck, and this came up in yesterday's reading. And systemically, my whole body went into a bow. So in comes the word matriarch, and when I tuned into that in terms of the masculine, can he bow to the feminine? In all sacredness, not because it's a thing of power, might is right, old masculine, but can he birth the new masculine and bow to his inner feminine? And I'll come back to that. There's a story coming out about that. And then I've asked myself a question: what would that even look like within a matriarchal society? I'd love to go to a trip. I'd love to go on a trip to a country and live in a matriarchal society just to feel what that's like. That's out there now. Slow down, feel in before taking action. Express vulnerability. I'm struggling to speak today. I'm noticing this. Express vulnerability with courage, no matter the consequences. Don't be shy. If it's your song, sing it. Stay in a place of integrity and avoid becoming entangled or responsible for what pushes back. Ingenuity can trigger. What is that quote? Was it Einstein? Mundane minds, ordinary minds, great something. Brilliance can trigger mundane. But they're just opposite ends of the same pole, come into harmony. And harmony comes in a minute, actually. Yeah. Remember, it takes a lot of energy for a rose to bloom. Blossom on your own terms. How would you describe your own masculine vulnerability, and how does that express itself in the world? How are you riding this Aries eclipse energy, and what about yourself are you wishing to eclipse? The Aries eclipse is all about the personal wound, where you didn't get to be yourself growing up. The Scorpio lunar eclipse on the 5th of May will be about where we've absorbed the issues of another. It's the 8th house of shared resource. I'll come to that in a minute. It's a big journey this morning. I feel like I've had 17 meetings already and it's only 10:03. So all this went into the deeply esoteric and 17th century religious artwork, which I had a deep dive with one of my, with my best friend, fellow mystic. Deep dive, decoding all the symbolism in it, which took us to numerology and to The 47th proposition of Pythagoras. Yes. So the 47th proposition of the Pythagoras theorem and Euclid's proof of congruency, not about mathematics. Okay, don't turn off. It's not about mathematics. That's the exoteric. The esoteric is, this is some of my words which I wrote this morning. Euclid's proof of congruency, which speaks to me about where my mind goes when I'm with maths or geometry. It's not about the cleverness of understanding on a mundane level. It's about the esoteric congruence with harmony. The word congruent here opens up a world of construction through difference and harmony. The harmonic principle of life almost. It also speaks to the age of Aquarius and holding difference or ingenuity without conflict in a field of harmony. Through congruence. Same but different. Different shaped squares, but congruent in their angles. And if I consider this in terms of the next eclipse, which I'll come to in a minute, I come back to the reading I did with Christelle. So a couple of days ago, me and Christelle had a very long Zoom chat. And we did a reading together on the king's coronation. Come to that in a minute. And lots of stuff came out. But for me, the overriding energy was strange because it was pagan. Feminine, pagan, old. Okay. So Christelle then tells me she recently watched an Astro report, which brought in this, there is a pagan placement. I'll come to that in a minute. This is the teaser campaign. Okay, reading I did with Christelle on the coronation, the energy I got from the reading was pagan, feminine, cosmic. All this led to the secret teachings of all ages by Manly P. Hall, Flowers, Plants, Fruits and Trees. And this excerpt is sent to me by same magical friend. And here I want to say thank you to all the collaborators, physical and metaphysical, who have been weaving this tapestry into life this morning. Couldn't have done it without you. Okay. So here's the excerpt in font size 1, so you'll see me squinting, even with my glasses on. I'm getting to that age where I need a magnifying glass. Flowers, plants, fruits, and trees. The yoni and phallus were worshipped by nearly all ancient peoples as appropriate symbols of God's creative power. The Garden of Eden, the Ark, the Gate of the Temple, the Veil of the Mysteries, the Vesica Piscis, or oval nimbus, and the Holy Grail are important yonic symbols. The pyramid, the obelisk, the cone, the candle, the tower, the Celtic monolith, the spire, the campanile, the maypole, and the sacred spear are symbolic of the phallus. Okay. So I'm going to segue into the king's coronation, which happens on the 5th of the 5th. I'm going to show you this beautiful image. And it actually happens on the Beltane-Samhain axis. Okay. A quick overview of May, because it's all going to speak to this. So May the 1st, Pluto stations to go retrograde. Then it retrogrades back to, I think it's at 22 minutes at the moment. I can tell you what it's at the moment. 21. It's at 0 degrees, 21 minutes at the moment. So it will retrograde back to 0 degrees in Aquarius. And then it will continue to move into Capricorn on June the 11th until January the 21st, 2024. And what that's going to say, so if we consider Pluto as soul and the challenger to soul, soul essence, essential living, then in Aquarius, it's been linking with the higher mind. So you've got that fusion, that higher mind soul fusion coming in and asking the question, what are you going to do with this? Where does this land with you? All of those beautiful soul questions. Pluto wants to transform our willingness and attitude to rise into that higher mind. So when it goes back into Capricorn, it's going to say, what have you learned and how are you going to build it? Okay. So there's a good, 6 months there. And in the building, 10-10, in the building is the initiation of different behavior. I will no longer respond to that. I will begin to respond to that. All right. And I'll bring more as it comes in, obviously. Odds, May the 5th, the big one. Full moon, lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and the king's coronation, which falls on the axis of Beltane and Samhain, or Taurus and Scorpio, or the current nodal axis. Isn't that interesting? Beltane, fertility, fecundity, passion. Bel, the bright one. Tane, fire. Samhain, the final harvest, the beginning of dark, festival of the dead. All right. We'll put those there. And here's an invitation. As I'm pulling cards, yeah, I'm going straight to that deck. As I'm pulling cards, here's my invitation for the whole family, whoever owns a deck of cards, pull cards with me and post them. And let's build another tapestry and see what comes through in the collective. Okay? Right. So following my instructions this morning to pull this out and remove the judgment I placed on this yesterday. I went straight into judgment. I bow to no one. What if I was bowing to something I hadn't taken that masculine minute just to feel into? It was very natural. It was very, very natural. I want to question that. Okay, so let's come back to the king. So as I'm digging around to find this card in the deck, I pulled this out, and the 3 cards underneath the king are the Fool, the Child Eternal, and the Liberator. So they're coming into play, all right? Shall I read the attributes? I'll read the attributes. King, light attribute, benevolent, leadership. And if we're talking about Aries, we're talking about the leadership of the self, selfhood, self-managing leadership in a benevolent and loving way, self-loving, self-gentling. It's like the gentling of the stallion. Waite. How many post-it notes? You go there. Thank you. It's the name of the video, done. Gentling of the stallion. Benevolent. How can I be gentle to myself? How can I feel into my deep waters? Because for the masculine, I mean, the feminine the feminine archetype has been being rebirthed for a couple of decades, to my knowledge, to my real awareness. And the masculine is, now that it's almost like now that the feminine has built a strong container and kind of made it okay to some level to be that feely and that intuitive, wise, authoritative, even to express her knowing. That's coming out into the world. And what's happening now is the masculine is getting ready. The masculine is doing his work, but this looks like a ramping of that revitalization of the fire. So king, benevolent leadership. Is it okay for me to express actually how I feel in this, not what the cognitive response is? Shadow, entitlement and rulership. Fool, light, fearlessly revealing emotion. Fearlessly revealing the emotion of the king. Thank you. The fool is the court jester. The fool is the only one with license to mock the king. Fearlessly revealing emotion in self and others. Shadow, using humor to wound. Okay. Lovely. Helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. Child eternal. Well. Ability to see things with fresh eyes. And this, I think, is going to be the key challenge for the rest of this year. Is going to be the kickback to I'm bringing something new which will not make sense. And you will want to apply the old forum to it to tell me that I'm wrong. I'm way beyond wrong, right, good, bad. That, for me, it's just a social construct. Morality is human. We made morality to create hierarchy. You're good, you're bad. I sense there is some kind of systemic, kind of natural law. And it comes right back to what can the soul bear? That's the basis of morality, but what can your soul bear? Living outside this paradigm of what's good and what's bad, what's polite and what's impolite. Fuck that. Ability to see things with fresh eyes and without judgment. Oh, I see that new thing. Don't know what it is. Full stop. Shadow, inability to grow up and be responsible. Dependency, it's the dependency on others. Please like me, please validate me. Please tell me I'm right, wrong, good, bad, because I can't define myself. But in the king, we have benevolent leadership. It's okay to be me. It's okay. It's coming into a beautiful, strong feminine energy, supporting this transition in the kingly masculine that's afraid to let go of what he knows, because that in itself is safety, structure. It's that Grace Hopper quote, isn't it? A ship is safe in port, but that's not what ships are built for. Yeah, Cancer is ruled by the Chariot. Liberator, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs. As we free ourselves, we inadvertently give permission to others to free themselves and go a little crazy. Imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate. Oh, yes, there's a lot coming in there. I don't want to get distracted. All right, so I'm going to use those as the basis for now I'm getting the king's new clothes. Because what if that was him bowing to the feminine? The reading I did for the coronation was deeply feminine. I didn't get anything heavy and dark. It might have been there and I might not have picked up on it, but I didn't get anything heavy and dark. What if he's bringing in the feminine? Don't know. All right. Mystical healing. Mystical healing. What is being healed? I'll tell you where I'm hesitating. Do I make this reading about the king's coronation per se? Or do I just wander? I wander aimlessly, don't I? Let's wander aimlessly. Where are you going to take this? Wander aimlessly. Open your wings. Off you pop. Oh, this is that gorgeous card I couldn't get enough of the other day. I was disappearing through the pentagram. Sun and the moon. Learn from karma. What I get here is, so the moon is kind of, it's like the inner veil. It's the pregnant eclipse, you know, it's waiting to reveal what we don't know, because very often what we don't know guides our sun, personality, expression. What we don't know is hidden in our moon. It's hidden in our deep, deep waters. If we go ancestral waters, we're certainly talking about karma, inner akash, how that makes us feel. Because our reality is formed by our perception. Perception is reality. And so if we're not constantly challenging our own perception, are we actually learning? Yeah, and here's Uranus coming in with that. This is the Saturn card, look. Focus on the higher truth. All will be revealed. My memory's appalling. We fully decoded this, me and my mate, when this card came out. I can't remember any of it now. But it doesn't matter. Feel free to decode it for yourself. What I'm getting here is a different message, is that the higher truth may erupt from the deep water within, which makes perfect sense, because within us all, I believe, is the universe. We are. So it's like when I'm with numerology or mathematics or geometry, what I'm tracking is the internal esoteric universe created by number, sound, vibration, frequency. So it's meeting myself at that esoteric level. And there's also a message there about write your own book. I'm not saying don't allow, I'm saying be full of integrity before anyone gets to write a chapter in your book. Because remember, these eclipses, Aries, selfhood, Scorpio, 8th house, where I didn't get to be myself growing up. And so many know that wound. The layering upon layering of parental wishes. Focus on the higher truth. Yeah. Phoenix rising. This is Pluto, Scorpio. This is Phoenix rising. It is the death and the rebirth. And the addiction might be the addiction to an old narrative that feels safe. It's coming in on that 5. It's the mind. The mind wants to rise. The mind wants to rise. Look to the parents. That's where a lot of your coding is going to be found. Yeah. Underlying story. Create boundaries. As you unlock your heart. Explore your ancestry. All right. Brilliant. Thank you. That's gorgeous. Where next? Where am I going next? What else do we need to know? What else do we need to know? Okay, let's go to the Gaia Tarot. You want to come out? Oh, okay. Let's see what comes up here. Okay. So 10 of Fire speaks to initiation. And what I get from this is it's almost Masonic, alchemical Masonic. It's the builder. It's the self as the alchemist, as the word's gone. Give me a new word. Builder. Architect. And it's daring. It might dare others to look at your fire. If anybody tuned into the Grace Hopper video, did you see yourself in that in any way? What was it like? This is fully activated, on fire. That's interesting, because it looks to me like he's wearing a mask. I sense with the next card, which of course is death and rebirth. Oh God, this is so Scorpio, Ophiuchus. Is that, do you remember when I said what the things that I couldn't be when I was growing up? It's the selfhood. It's almost like the things I couldn't say when I was growing up. And all of that has a detrimental effect on the holistic health of the body's systems. It all has an effect when we swallow our words. This is the only gateway to express inner wisdom, to express. The universe is built on sound. Every time we make a sound, we're birthing something. The taking back of the voice, that's really interesting. Yeah, it's the expression of wisdom. Again, look at this 10 energy. Of course, yeah. This is Dharma, moving from karma to Dharma. You light your own path. You find your own standing stones. Wear a bear on your head. Heaven to earth is the 3 into the 4. It is to build. It is the feminine and the masculine working together. That is the alchemy of creation, the feminine and the masculine. It's active intelligence coming into form. It's coming in on that intuitive 11. What I'm getting is the blueprints are already there. It's not that we've got to sit and draw plans. It's there. We just need to tap into it. It's within us. It's about, it's like drop the trying and the striving and look for the elegant. When it expresses elegantly, it's kind of, you're a new kind of nature being. It's a natural thing. So perhaps look for the no resistance. And I've got to come back to the gagged voice, the no resistance as a young person or as a child even. Well, children tend to speak unfiltered. Tend to speak unfiltered. Okay, so we're coming into, there's a fusion happening here. There's a taking responsibility for ourselves happening here. There's an ownership of personal authority coming in here. This is a heck of a turn. It's it's a heck of a turn, and how dramatic it is will directly correlate with how much of a fight we put up, how much resistance is triggered within us with that Pluto movement. It's very revealing. Thank you to everything. Thank you to everything that's building this. Just you being here is bringing energy. I don't want to go to any of those. Oh, this might be nice. You want to come out. Yeah, this is the second deck. So all I did was I tried to cut the deck to shuffle them, and the cards are coming straight off the bottom of the middle of the deck. Okay, so we have future vision coming in on that 13. It's that feminine, that powerful feminine. It's almost, the 13 is saying to me it was like this to begin with. The taming of the stallion, fearlessness, removing obstacles, 26-8, Great Lord Karma. Gosh. Liberation. I tell you, keep your eyes on Libra season, because I'm already getting messages coming in. Libra, liberation, feminine. But it's feminine authority. It feels very beautiful, a little bit terrifying. innovate. I think I said the other day, is it new? Is it new? Innovate 20. Goddess energy. Wow, wow. Feminine as architect. Bringing the blueprint. And manifesting owls from her hands. And there's a challenge in there. And why not? And why not? Where is the limit? The limit is my perception, your perception. Where is the limit? Harvest. 44. Inheritance. The gathered blessings. I'm being shown the gathered blessings on some iClouds somewhere. Just waiting to come in. Oh, fantastic. What's the underlying? Yeah, wow. 33, building your world. It's your world. What does your world look like? Very individual and together. I love this energy. It feels like a massive family, all celebrating one another. It's like congruence in individuality and ingenuity. Very lovely. Oh my God. I also would welcome your thoughts on the coronation. Colliding. I'm curious to know what the royal astrologers are planning. I'm curious to know your feelings about the coronation. Interesting. I think it's not going to be revealed yet, is what I get from these. So we have Tiger and Will. Whose will? Egoic will? Cosmic will. Source doesn't have will. Source is indifferent. See, I'm practicing now a wiggle around the word spiritual will. Okay, so I have a wiggle around what is spiritual. Whose will? Let's just leave it at a question. I'm going to stay in my wiggle. Intuitive will. Oh, I like that. That sounds like music to me today. Intuitive will. So this is the Take that moment to feel in before taking action. It's almost like this wants to come first, actually, before that. So tuning in and observing. And I like how we've kind of got the upper world coming in to trigger action. And here we have, this is interesting. What's this saying? Is this observation or is this being observed? The field responds to what it is witnessing. Okay, I'll leave it there. Okay. Is there anything else? Is there anything else I need to bring in? So we are going to have one Rumi card. Well, see how many come out. And then we'll wrap it up with an abundance deck. Okay, time. Listen to suitable guidance. The wayfarer knows the course. It's linking to that. This is speaking to the higher truth that's within you, the higher self. It's all within you. I wonder if it might be a good practice to regularly start asking ourselves, what is my higher truth in this? And that will help us to notice when we've gone to the mundane. What's my normal response? How do I normal? We're redefining normal. So what if we actively and consciously take that decision-making process to the next level by saying, what is my higher truth? Can I elevate this? Evolve, evolve, devolve. Stay the same. Lovely, thank you. Balance your mind. Mercury and Uranus in the house. Blow away the burnt harvest. Which takes me to Samhain, which takes me to Scorpio. As the opposite axis of this 5-5 eclipse coronation. And the impending nodal change in July. And maybe a question of what have I burnt away in this phase of the South Node being in Scorpio, that 8th house of shared resource. That's lovely. And finish it up with one of these, please. Yeah, that's beautiful. don't know which way this comes out on the screen. Freedom right now. Okay. Behave. What if we are free right now? Perception creates reality. Beliefs create behavior. They are not mutually exclusive. It's just what's coming in now. So a belief can change the way we speak. A belief can limit the soul evolution. How do I evolve this conversation, thought, action, deed? Well, you're free right now. If you're free right now, what do you want to do? What do you want to be, think, feel, see, hear, touch? Free right now. Freedom right now. Freedom right now. That's it. My lovelies. I am off ski. And I will see you again when I see you. If it isn't this week, have a wonderful weekend. That's it. I'm done. Lots of love. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.